They wanna know about Islam, we'll give them da'wah. They wanna know what a Muslim does, we'll give them da'wah. When they wanna hate on our deen, we'll give them da'wah.
Look and measure, and whoop-de-whoop, are you surprised we have genetic differences? I have a genetic predisposition for type 2 diabetes. I want to be treated as a different human being because of my gene code.
You want to be treated?
Well, if I have type 2 diabetes, yes I do. Thank you for the genetic data. Now, you're telling me some genetic data is not what you want to hear. That's a political argument.
From German scientists, reflected upon subsequent results of so-called scientific discoveries. So therefore, you have to understand, number one, how science can be very biased.
Okay, you're making a very long point. You really need to take a minute. Let me help. I can summarize.
Yeah, so summarize what you're. Let me summarize it. Give me 1 minute. Just 1 minute, and then you can talk for 2 minutes. All right, I apologize. 1 minute.
Okay.
To summarize, science itself can be used by racist people, and then those racist people can then use the word data to make it seem as if science has, this is a legitimate racism. Now, moving on to social sciences, which is even weaker, it's more feeble than science, yes, because it attempts to mimic it. It's a cheap copy, it's a pseudoscience according to Karl Popper. And then the resulting placement tests, which are called IQ tests, which are put in place to try and measure people's intelligence, collectivize them, and then justify further racism, which is what your phase 2 might be. If not for you, but someone else would say phase 2 of the program would be like that.
I'm really hitting a minute here, man.
The point, no, it's not a minute, it's not finished.
Yeah. I'm geeking.
Yeah. So you have to justify why the parameters included in the IQ test are the best possible parameters when they don't include those things which black people or people of color would have as advantages over and above white people, and do link to intelligence according to a majority of studies that have been done on it. So can you answer that question?
So let me know, you took about 20 minutes and I was respectful.
No, I took 1 minute.
Before the 1 minute. We can do a video check. We're very good at time. And let me just start by, because you use Popper and you're questioning the scientific method, you're questioning basically Western civilization, which the ground you're standing on. Let me tell you about Western civilization. So when you ended what you're referring to loosely as logical positivism with Wittgenstein and Popper down the room and everyone else, this was still 40 years before the invention of computer science. We see people like myself as two types of chimps in this world, those who get theoretical computer science and those that don't. The scientific method is just an algorithm. It's a class of algorithms. Null alternative hypotheses are algorithms. Ones with type 1, type 2 errors are algorithms. Methodological interference are algorithms. Logical positivism is an algorithm. The trinity we stand on that Popper, if you bear with me, the trinity that Popper laid out in his 3-world model, there are 3 worlds. One is a physical world, which I will measure using science and computer science as the time of the universe is 15 billion years, plus our space-time continuum, plus you and I as chimps in a data point time t. Then I will look at an evolutionary snap that by forming computational science models. This abstraction in World War II is measured by conscious creatures in it. You and I as two chimps, either those at processing levels. That trinity that creates us tells us that from a gene to a cell.
So you're bringing in Christianity here. That trinity that creates us.
From a gene to a cell to a chimp. So if I took your 20,000, if I forced you and took your saliva using extraordinary rendition, your saliva and 23, you're chimped out for 20,000. I'll see you, Muhammad Hijab, with his 20,000 genes.
I done that, by the way.
I will see which tribe you came from, down from Baghdad, from Ramadi. I will find every gene pool. And I will see you have a propensity for diabetes, for motor neuron disease, for heart. I will look at using medicine, I'll look at your chimp. When you enter data space, as others tips move on, we're going to measure.
Sorry.
Race realism and
I thought you were someone else. Sorry. Sorry.
Race realism and scientific realism are just ways that say this is the data. If you don't like it for political reasons, you say racism because obviously you will have to form allies with the left while you're still visiting our lands.
Who's your lands? You're Indian.
Yeah, non-Islamic.
No, you're Indian. Our lands means you're an Indian. You're a colonial subject, ex-colonial subject.
I'm identifying myself first as Christian.
Who cares?
Are you a proper Muslim?
Yeah.
Okay, you call yourself a Muslim before wherever you are. I'm a Christian first.
Okay. Yeah. So what's that got to do?
So these are Christian lands.
So, Christian lands? Yeah. Well, that's a political discussion. That's a political discussion. You wanted to avoid them.
Politics in there just to keep everything nice and warm. So in that Christian Western science, in that Christian we have data, and we're going to look at the data. and racism and some left-wing view of
By the way,
my racism, my
No, hold on.
doesn't interest me. It
Sorry,
doesn't interest us.
Ralph.
I'm not a racist.
I apologize. I didn't accuse you of racism.
No. Oh, I don't care.
Sorry, no, hold on. I told you today I'm not going to be morally sanctimonious. I'll let that for other people to talk about, right? Yeah. And I haven't accused you of racism. By the way, racism is a neutral term.
Everyone's racist.
No, hold on. What I mean by racism being a neutral term, it doesn't have to be necessarily derogatory, depending on how you define it and how it's expressed.
It's
Racism is just an expression of a collective of group, a collective referring to themselves, self-identifying or being referred to.
I respect strong.
Sorry, I've let you speak to you. Referring to themselves, being self-identified or being referred to as others, as say for instance black or white or whatever, being oppressed through power relations or otherwise by other people and or being discriminated against. That could have undertones which are political, but it could also be something which is neutrally used. My question to you, which you couldn't answer, and you started talking about algorithms, was the fact that how can you justify making my question is how can you justify?
Because that's what the
I haven't finished my question. How can you justify making overarching generalizations about intelligence when the systems and methods by which Ralph, by the way, I did let you speak. So now can I? Hold on. You're thinking in a linear way. Okay.
Objective data.
You're thinking it's not objective.
I don't know how you feel about the data.
I've not told you about my emotions, so you're talking about something else now. Have I said I feel this way or that way?
You seem to think
But, no, hold on. Ralph, I'm sorry. I
I
didn't say this. Did I say that?
So do you think everyone has the same IQ?
No, I'm not saying IQ. I'm not talking about IQ now. What I'm saying is this. My claim is very... Sorry, Ralph. You expect me to say certain things because you hear that from the left. I'm not left-wing guy. Hold on. I don't identify with the left or the right. I don't identify with any of.
The far right.
No, I don't believe so. I really genuinely don't believe so. I disagree with that completely. But what I was going to say was this. We're not left or right. We don't go in your spectrum, your political spectrum. We don't have to fit nicely within. So what I was going to say was this. Was the point I was making? You keep using words like data and objective truth and emotions.
Right.
It's an easy argument to win against someone who doesn't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
But if you're talking to someone who's done social sciences and has spent many years doing so, like myself, and I can tell you now. No. And not to be funny, but I've got the credentials from those guys that you take as authorities.
No.
I do have those. I do have those credentials if you want me to show them to you as well. But even if we don't talk about that, and I say to you, look, the issue is this. The issue is that you're using a measure which is a byproduct. Listen to me carefully. It's a byproduct of a social science that was done from. You're not listening to my objection. The IQ test cannot be seen as an incorrigible test that is incapable of being amended in the future. And moreover, hold on. So excuse me. I haven't finished. And moreover. Therefore, to categorize races as a result of their performances on the IQ test, knowing full well that within the parameters of the IQ test, certain things like bilingualism and multilingualism is not included. You're not listening. You're simply not listening. I will say to you, I'm going to make a statement right now. I'm going to say to you that people that can speak two languages are cleverer in my eyes than people that can speak one.
Okay.
Yes, colonial people that have been colonized by the West and others, because in 1914, according to one of your great scholars, his name is Homi Bhabha. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. Yeah. He's a post-colonialist thinker. 85% of people, 85% of the world was colonized by a few European countries. 85%. A lot of people have colonial amnesia. You have colonial amnesia. You don't remember the fact that. Hold on. You don't know. So Ralph. No. Hold on. What I'm saying is, you do have a colonial, because you don't know the extent to which colonial powers have affected educational systems of measuring intelligence and giving intelligence, so that compartmentalization, collectivization, and then exploitation can be continued in the post-colonial narrative. Now here's the point. That's why they do it. Now I'm saying to you something very simply. that in Western Europe, the people that we're meant to see as the Superman, the Superman with the blue eyes and the white skin, the Ubermensch, sorry, in the Nietzschean word, the Ubermensch, the Ubermensch. Those individuals who are meant to be the apex, those individuals who are meant to be the apex of human civilization, because of their scores on IQ tests which have been rigged, so that they can be the. Hold on. The IQ test can be rigged.
They can. IQs are high, you should be able to print your thoughts.
They've been rigged.
If your IQ is very high, you should be able to summarize.
No.
I can summarize your words in 10 or 15.
No,
if you can summarize your own words, it would help everyone.
IQ test. I'm not falling for that. I'm not falling for that trap. No, I'm not falling. So, Ralph,
will you take an IQ test live streaming, mate?
What?
Will you take?
I don't believe in IQ test. You don't listen to my argument.
Well, I'll take a live IQ test.
Have you got a degree?
Have
you got a degree?
Will you take a live
Have you got a
IQ
degree?
test? Okay.
Have you got a degree?
Okay,
now you go away.
No.
Thank you very much. Now, hold on. No, don't talk about IQ tests. I've done enough tests in this country for 10 years.
But you won't take an IQ test.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Ralph. The point is this: if you agree with me that people that know more than one language, if everything's staying the same, would be more intelligent than person or one language. The question I ask is why have the elitist Westerners not put language ability in the IQ test? Because do you know why? And Ashkenazi's Jews are going to go Dawa. Yeah. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
God bless you, mate.
Thank you, brother. Well,